Hey everybody, it's Maniac for Bricks. This is actually going to be a shorter update as far as the Monorail Futuron. I just knocked over a track piece. Anywho, this is going to be a shorter update for how the repairing is going. And as I mentioned in the last video, I haven't built anything for the base yet. I only went through the tracks a bit. So as far as building goes, I got most of the base done, which was helpful through one or two live streams with BFAB and a couple other people. So this is at least the one part where they have the switch track that's in between. And there were a couple of pieces here and there that were broken, mostly along this side. I think I showed some of them before in the last video as well. And one or two, there's a whole bunch of these that are glued together. So if I need to replace them and I can't necessarily break these apart from each other by any glue gun or some things you suggested in the last video, thank you for those suggestions. If I can't break it apart by any chemical means, then I do have the pieces to replace these. One thing I did have a problem with is this elevator platform over on this side. So you can see how this radar dish can move up and down. There's a piece on the bottom of that I haven't found in all of my parts, even ones that I own back here, that I'm going to have to order separately in order to fill in that space. There's also a little bit of an assembly there, but that is something that connects onto it to fit that in. Another tile or so, and then that'll be taken care of. A few parts on the top were actually glued together, but they were built wrong. I even checked with the other base, and it happened the same way. These parts on the top actually were not supposed to overlap like that. They were supposed to overlap with these. Like, it has, you can kind of see it right there, how it's only going over this one plate and not the other one down there. So I might just, again, try to find the other parts of those types and replace them through there. You can also see the one tube is missing, and only part of it hung on there. I don't know why, but yeah, I will definitely take care of that. And just a few things here and there. But at least I got the experience of building it through and seeing how this thing is supposed to go together, so I can find the replacements and know where to go from there of, you know, restoring it a little bit. It was brought to my attention from Canadian Brickyard that it does add like a layer of vintageness and kind of coolness with how some of the pieces are yellowed. I just think it would be kind of better if I could work on a few pieces here and there that, like the printed pieces, I think it would be more obvious of them. Like if they got restored and whited, that would be better. But if it doesn't work out that way, or if I can't find like the right weather day to, you know, because it is a direct sunlight sort of thing, if I can't do that, I'll be okay with it. I just thought maybe it'll be a little bit better for polish. If I do have this up somewhere, that'll look a little bit better. As you guys know, I have a bunch of regular lamps around here that already kind of yellow everything as it is. Not necessarily chemically, but just how it looks on the camera. So I thought, if I try to restore these a bit, then maybe it'll look a little bit more appealing when I put it onto a YouTube video. But either way, this was kind of a neat little platform. Basically just has the one thing to go in and out of there and the elevator on the back. Now as far as the other one goes, it's a little bit larger. As much as the base plates weren't with each of these, I did have extras of those so I could, you know, get them for my collection and put it together. There was supposed to be one piece to fit there, but I took it off, and this is kind of a cooler platform. I've seen this with like a couple other sets that usually use these large dome pieces. They have a feature built in so that it'll, you know, rotate all the way around. So you kind of see it like close up a little bit, and then as it goes towards the track, it could open. It was a really cool idea for that, and there are still pieces in here to find. There's like this piece that's broken, a couple pieces all over the place that are glued together. So as long as they're not too bad, I don't know. Again, a lot of these can be replaced. I don't think there's anything on this half of it that is too exclusive that would be hard for me to find again. Even if I did have to replace these, because they do have a few glued bits here or there, I don't think it's going to be too bad. I do have one or two that are extra, and I should be able to work that out nicely. And it's mostly this area on top that's glued, but this is popped on and off pretty easily. Other than that, a few pieces down here that need to be worked on, and I think it's like one or two over here. It wasn't too bad for this one. It actually does feel a little bit plain, but there is still like adding all of this together to make the monorail track, you know, and add the set together. So with some of those additions, most of these were glued together. This is the first things I knew when I first got that haul, was like, okay, I kind of understand why they would be glued, because they're essential to the track, and you want to be sure that the track holds together and doesn't fall apart. The track is actually pretty sturdy as it is, so it's almost overkill, but it's okay. So basically have this that's together. Still need to get an antenna on there. The antenna should look like the one that's on this one. So everything except for the antenna and the... Nope, that plate is glued on there too. Okay. So, yeah, everything except for the antenna pretty much is glued together. And there's a whole bunch of those 1x4s that are still here. There's a couple of the pylons, or whatever you want to call these supports, that are still here. And there's also this ring area that is missing a couple pieces. This whole half of it is glued. This whole half of it is glued. These are okay. So, I don't know. If I did want to get each of these are probably the harder ones to find, and maybe that as a printed piece. But not too bad at this point. So now that I've gone through almost all of this being built, there is one thing that I didn't get to build out of this. There's a small kind of hovercraft that is supposed to be built where it can carry one of these objects. I don't know if it's a separate one from this or the same one, but it is supposed to have room to fit this on the back of it, as it does on the monorail. That was not included in here as far as parts go. It doesn't seem too bad as far as trying to piece it back together, but it's still something I will have to take a look at some point and try to go through my parts and see what I can build. So at this point, at least we're in good standing as far as what's been built and how to get through this and seeing what needs to be fixed, replaced, or unglued. But at this point, I'm going to basically tear all this apart, try to clean some of it out, because there is a little bit of dirt here and there. Even the base plates could use some cleaning, and see what happens. I'll have to try something separately for the hydrogen peroxide testing. I don't know as far as the goo gone. That might also be another step, so I'll try that out later. So thanks for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next time with more LEGO videos. If you have any suggestions on cleaning this stuff up, let me know in the comments down below. I appreciate it. We'll see you next time.